Hey y'all, welcome back to the Millennial Thoughts podcast. We have a special guest, Sasha. She is here. We're talking about wealth and building the life that we want to build. She is the CEO of Self is Wealth, and also she helps with credit repair. Before we get into the episode though, okay, I want to let y'all know that this is video. This is, recorded. And if you are a part of the Patreon, you can see this when I upload. If you're not a part of the Patreon, you cannot see it. But for $5, you can join and you can see video interviews. And if you look in the link in the bio, okay, it just says support Patreon. You can join for $5. You get video interviews and you get live sometimes when I go live by myself. So I just want to put that plug in there if y'all want to join me on Patreon and see our faces while we talk and, be able to get with us, because I like the video action. So wanted to put that out there before. And now I'll let our guest introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sasha Fleming, and I'm the CEO of a company called Self is Wealth. And Self is Wealth is we are a financial literacy business specializing in credit repair. I am a credit repair expert where I help people repair and build their credit, and I specialize in helping people create wealth by leveraging their credit. It is a pleasure to be here before you guys today, and I'm excited to get into it.
Yes, I am excited as well. Okay. But before we start, we got to start with our affirmation. Okay. And since this month is financial literacy month, we all about financing. So leading into our conversation, I want y'all to repeat a couple of affirmations after me. Okay. A couple of them. And we are going to go with abundance is coming. I deserve and accept it. And then we're going to go with I have more than enough money and I am always discovering new sources of income. Okay. So abundance is coming. I deserve and accept it. I have more than enough money. I'm always discovering new sources of income. Because what we're not going to act like is it don't take no money to live life. Okay. Period.
Right.
So, um, if y'all watch YouTube, you may or you may not know there's a lot going around talking about the American dream, not living the American dream, living life on your own terms, and just trying to create the dream that you want to live. And so I've been wanting to talk about that, and I was like, why not bring it and talk about it while it is financial literacy? Because everything that we have in life, like they say money is not everything, but money is the access that you need to do what you want to do, whether that is RV and whether if you want to do minimalism, if you want luxury. So I decided, why not connect with my girl who talk about money and wealth, and we'll just have a conversation about building our dream life. So you can tell them like a little backstory view of what you did and now what you do and how you're building your dream life.
All right. So I'm gonna try to keep it short, simple, straight to the point. So how I got how I got started out in credit repair, you guys. To be quite honest, I wanted to attend college, and the college I wanted to attend, it was actually a little bit too pricey. I exhausted all of the funds with financial aid, and I still needed about 15 grand more. Couldn't come up with the money. Tried to get loans. I couldn't get approved for student loans or private loans because I didn't have any credit. I didn't have any credit established. My parents tried to co-sign for me. My grandparents tried to co-sign for me. Certain family members wouldn't co-sign at all. It's like when I would bring it up, they would kind of get spooked, like, "Oh, I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't know anything about co-signing," and it kind of piqued my interest because I'm like, "Hold up, what is this credit thing?" And I see that it gives you access to certain things, and why are people so protective over it to where they won't co-sign?
Mhm.
I was just lost, and I was also a little bit hurt and confused because I'm like, "Sheesh, they don't want me to stay in school. Like, what's going on?" But I didn't realize how important co-signing was and how important it was to safeguard your credit and protect your credit. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't have co-signed for nobody's student loan either.
Because the way
No,
they had it nowadays, you be like, "Who child?" And then people don't want to pay their
yeah,
student loan back. It's on your credit.
right. So I now knowing what I know now, I understand. And so got kicked out of school, couldn't get financially enrolled. And my goal, I said, you know what? I'm going to go back home and I'm going to establish credit. I'm going to work on building my credit. I'm going to come back to school, get these private loans so I can finish on my education at this school. And during that time, I ended up getting approved for a credit card. My first credit card, it had a $800 limit on it, and I went crazy with it. Maxed it out. And my grandmother, who I was living with at the time, she didn't know much about credit. She taught me what she knew, and what she knew was pay that $25 minimum payment due on a due date, put a little extra razzle dazzle on it, pay extra $15, extra $20 if you really want to, add some spice to it. And that's what I knew, and that's what I learned about credit. And ended up maxing out my card, wasn't able to really pay it off, wasn't really working, didn't have a job. I was 18, 19 years old. So that maxed out, ended up going to collections, and next thing you know, I'm just racking up debt. Ended up going to another school, but learning more about credit. So in the process of trying to build my credit, completely squandered my credit the first time around. And everything that I learned was literally through trial and error. It was the trial and error. So I ended up building my credit back up based on what I was learning. I was calling, I was asking questions, I was researching, I was Googling, et cetera, et cetera. So I got my credit up. And so the next time around, I was doing what I do with my credit and trying out different things. And the second time around, I ended up learning something totally new about credit. I ended up learning the dispute process and how to remove negative items. And then through that, I ended up squandering my credit a second time. It gets better, girlfriend. It gets better. A second time. I ended up squandering it a second time through life mishaps. Ended up having getting pregnant my senior year of college. And I kind of stepped out into the real world. As soon as I graduated college, I financed the car, and then I'm financing this and financing that, and I had me a job, and things were just piling up. And so I'm like, all right, okay, Saj, we know what to do. You've been here before. So worked on my credit again, and through that second or third time getting my credit right, I every single time I worked on my credit, I always learned something new. So the first time I actually learned about utilizing and managing credit cards. The second time I learned about disputes. And then I messed my credit up again. So it's a third time. So I messed my credit up 3 times. 3 times. So I'm trying so many different things. And I'm blessed to have gone through that journey, because I know pretty much all there is to know. Well, you can always know more, but I know a lot about credit, and a lot that I know I have learned through experience of messing my credit up 3 times and bringing it back up 3 times. I've helped countless others build their credit, but we're not going to get into that. I'm not going to do all that. Stick to the question, stick to the topic. So anyway, so ended up building my credit up to the point where I needed it to be. And through that, I started to leverage my credit to create wealth. Now, here's what I've also learned. You can build your credit to a certain point. You can build your credit and you can start leveraging it to create wealth. But if you don't have that income, to pay off your credit cards and to pay these installment loans, you're going to get swallowed up by your debt. You're going to get swallowed up by your debt, and it's going to be real bad for you. So people, they hit me up all the time. They want to get these high limit credit cards. They want to get these high limit loans, and that's cool and all. But how are you going to pay this stuff back? How are you going to manage it properly? How are you going to manage your debt? So that's the thing that people don't think about. So and another thing, clients come to me and they want me to remove everything for them. Okay, if I remove everything for you, your credit is still not really going to be that great. You still have to do things to accelerate your credit, to boost your credit, to move your credit. You still have to have positive accounts on your credit. So in building my credit, I also realized that I have to have the income. Yes, you which do. Is why I ended up getting back into B2B sales. So with B2B sales, you get me, I get my base salary and I get my commission. And I'm in B2B sales in the tech space, in telecommunications. And so with that, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of opportunity. With some sales, you can bring in $10,000 commission checks, $5,000 commission checks, as high as $20,000 commission checks. So when you have the credit, when you have great credit and you have the income to back it up to be able to do things with your credit, you're on a roll. However, if you have the credit, but you don't have the income, you're kind of stuck. So I'm going to give you an example. A client of mine, I helped him. He started off with $500 in credit. He had a $500 secured card. Helped him reach, first I helped him reach up to 48,000 within a little over 12 months. Now, currently, he's at about 72,000. I forget the exact number, but it's in the 70s, about $72,000 in credit. And when he was at that 48K mark, he didn't have income. He was unemployed. Mm-hmm. And this is one of my favorite testimonials that I like to tell, because it just goes to show that with building up your credit, you have to be consistent, and consistency and a good plan can get you there. And this guy he was unemployed. Yeah, he was bringing in unemployment. Yeah, he had some little side money here and side money there that he could use to keep continuing to build his credit. However, he didn't have that guaranteed income coming in to where he can confidently make moves the way he needed to. So for a while, he had the credit, but he couldn't do anything with it, so he was stuck. Now, some people, they would have taken that credit, they would have lived off of it, they would have did whatever, and that's how people get stuck in that cycle of debt. So to create this American dream, to create this lifestyle that you want to live, because so many people come to me and say, hey, I want to get these high limit credit cards. I want to build wealth. I want to build wealth through my credit. If you want to do that, if you want to create this American dream, you build your credit and you build the income along with it. Now, some of you are like, okay, I work this job, I work that job, and I'm not getting paid much on it. For those of you who are working low-paying jobs and who feel like I need extra income, this is where you build additional skills. This is where you build additional skills. If you already got a credit card, use that. If it's a $500 limit credit card, a $300 limit credit card, a $1,000 limit credit card, maybe you don't have a lot of credit, and maybe you don't have a lot of income. If you're in that position, the thing that you can do to get yourself out of that position, take that low limit credit card and pay for a course. And not just any old course that you find on Instagram and Facebook. No, I mean a legit course with a certification at the end. Pay for a credit repair certification course. Pay for a real estate brokerage course. Get your real estate license. I think in North Carolina, the class is like $475. You got a $500 credit card. Pay for that class and pay your credit card down. There's so many different certifications and skills you can take. If you want to learn sales, pay for a sales seminar. Pay to go to a sales seminar, or pick up some sales skills. Go to a sales institute and learn that skill. If you want to get into media, there are plenty of media certification programs you can do. Maybe you want to be a content creator and have some kind of in-house residency position at some corporation creating content. If you want to do that, Facebook has so many programs and courses that folks can take to learn digital marketing and how to make content, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to increase your income, if you're at a place where you're like, well, man, I'm used to making $15 an hour, man, I'm used to making $20 an hour, like it ain't much I can do with that. Take the little that you have and build skills so that you can position yourself for a higher paying job. And another cool thing about
travel credit card right now.
Sorry?
You want to have me get a travel credit card right now.
and that's another cool thing, right? So like leveraging your credit and leveraging opportunities, right? So like there are some jobs that you can get where some jobs will give you a company credit card, but then some jobs, some sales jobs or even other jobs, right? You may need to expense something to your actual credit card. Now, if you have a travel card or rewards card, let's say you're in sales and you're trying to woo a prospective client and you take them out to lunch or dinner. You can use your cash back, your rewards card or your travel card or whatever, get those rewards points, right? And submit that expense report to your company. They reimburse you for that and you get the points for that. So you're racking up points for free. So that's what I mean by like building up figuring out where you want to go, figuring out what kind of career you want to go into. And I know, Alicia, your target audience may be entrepreneurs, but I know some of you have heard this before. Your job is going to be your best business partner. Mm-hmm. Like you're going to need a job to pay for these business expenses. You're going to need a job to grow your business. You're going to need a job
9 to 5
for your look, to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk, to be able to buy your podcasting equipment, your cameras and things. The money has to come from somewhere.
I'm a corporate creative over here, okay? Period. Like my 9 to 5.
I know that's right. So for people who feel like you're kind of like in a position where you're kind of stuck, where your income may be low, your credit may be low, and you feel like you don't have nothing to work with, you do have something to work with. You can build skills.
Yes,
and sometimes working for that promotion can take forever, and that may be something that just doesn't happen. So my suggestion would be to build skills for a higher paying job, for a career that you can get into that high paying job, and use that income to build your credit. And when you're at a position where you can build your credit, like getting CD backed loans and getting installment loans that you can use to build your credit, or even getting a secured card and maybe putting a $5,000 deposit on a secured card so that you automatically start out with a $5,000 card, managing the utilization properly on that card and getting the limit increased every 6 months on that card and building that card up, positioning yourself to be able to apply for other high limit cards that are unsecured. So it's just a game of consistency, a game of planning and consistency. But I'm gonna pause right there because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Okay, we changing this to a credit podcast episode. But it's good to know, because even when you started from the beginning, when you started talking, I was like, oh, snaps. Like, yeah, people don't really know about credit, because when I grew up, my dad's like, oh, cash is king. Cash is king. It's not credit. It's not credit. Not realizing that I did not know, like, when you have to go get an apartment, they look at your credit score. Well, I've been in school for 4 years. Like, good thing my credit was not that bad. I did take out loans, but they didn't look at that because, like, I was in school. So it's like knowing stuff like that, like how do you know that? And so that's why I created this podcast, because some people don't know, like when you graduate, you might not have as good as credit, or you might want to start doing your credit. And I was like, okay, I'll just get a Forever 21 credit card. And now I think I'm mad because I closed it because I never used it, and I think my credit score went down. So I'm kind of salty about that. But regardless, like, I guess I got a new credit card so it can work. But it's like simple things like that. Like, who was to know that you needed a credit score to get an apartment? How do you know that if you never even look for an apartment? Because when you go to college, you don't need a credit score. They'd be like, okay, you could use your residual, your refund, So like, that's why I think it's really important for us to talk and have these conversations. And in the Black community and stuff like that, like, people don't have credit. How you're saying, like, they ain't about to sign off, nothing like that. Like, my parents signed as a guarantor when I paid for my like apartment, but also they know I was like good with money and I had a job and stuff like that. But some parents aren't in the space to be able to even sign. Some parents don't make as much as their kids, not their parents. And so it's just something good to know, to say like, okay, this is how you can build your credit, and building credit can help you build wealth, because then you can use especially that business credit to being able to start other businesses, to be able to get the money to afford to do the different things that you need. So I think that really was a great segue into talking about building this American dream that you want and building wealth. So that was really great. It might have been a lot. So if y'all need to go back and listen to it to really, dive in. She messed up her credit 3 times. I just blame, but hey, 3rd time's a charm, because you ain't messing up no more. And now you're helping people. So
hey, I'm certified out here. I didn't help dozens, hundreds, and not hundreds, but a whole bunch of people with their credit. So I think 3rd time is the charm.
And I ain't doing this no more.
I didn't seen it all. I didn't been through it all. So, I'm pretty grateful for the experience. But oh, and something I wanted to mention, right? Another hot topic is business credit. So many people talk about business credit, right? I'm gonna fill y'all in on something. They tell you to get your virtual address and your this and your that and your duns and your all this or whatever. And yeah, those things are legit. Yeah, right. But you can follow all of those steps to the T and still not really qualify for business credit too much. Because in most instances, they're going to ask you for a personal guarantee anyway. My Rockstar client that I was telling you guys about earlier, he's built $26,500 in business credit by accident. And here's what he did. He doesn't have Duns and Bradstreet. He doesn't have all of these vendor accounts, these net 30s and all this other stuff. He doesn't have any of that. All he has is an LLC. But here's the thing. When you have an LLC and when you're properly utilizing your personal credit cards, proper utilization, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to get offers for business credit cards as well, because they know that you have your LLC. That's public information. So you're going to get those offers. And he just started getting offers and he was getting approved for them. Then he was feeling himself and he started applying for other little business cards. They may not start you out at a large limit. I think the smallest business card he has is a $2,000 card. And I think the highest business card he has, I think it's like a $12,000 card. So they may not start you off at higher limits, but at the same time, he wasn't making any money in his LLC. He just has his LLC. You know how people just get their LLC? Just got it.
Twitter business. Get your LLC. Twitter.
Yeah. So, of course he planned on doing something, with it, but at that point in time, he was unemployed, so it wasn't much that he could do. But all he had was an LLC and he was managing his personal credit properly. And he got those offers for business credit cards. That is an easy way to get into the world of business credits and for you to start getting those business credit cards. And if you're properly utilizing those smaller business credit cards, you qualify for the higher ones and you continue to build yourself up. Those other steps are cool. You can get the big boy business funding through those other steps. But remember, if you're trying to get business funding, credit cards and all of that good stuff, you gotta have income coming into your LLC in order to get the big boy funding, in order to get the $50,000 and the $70,000 line of credit. You also need to have income coming in. So I just wanted to throw that out there because a popular question that I always get is about business credit. How can I position myself to get this $50,000 line of credit, this $100,000 line of credit? I took this business credit course and it didn't really do nothing for me. I did all the steps and I still didn't really qualify for anything. Yeah, that's because you can do those steps, but you don't have the income. And when you're doing it that way, you have to have the income as well. You have to have the revenue coming in as well. If you want to do it the other way, where you don't need the revenue, you got to be doing your thing on the personal credit side. So hint, you can't be trying to build business credit if your personal credit is not in order.
Okay. So
a lot of people come to me, their credit scores are in the 400s, in the 500s, low 600s, and they're like, "Yeah, I want to build business credit because I'm trying to get this $40,000 line of credit real quick because I'm gonna live off of it for a little while." And just craziness like that. And I'm like, you might want to work on your personal credit first, and you might want to tighten up that plan as well. But I just throw that out there because that's something that I hear a lot.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good key information. While we are talking about credit score, what do you think is like a good credit score? I would say for the ages of like mid-20s to like 35, like in that span. Like, what would be a good credit score that you think someone would need to achieve or should achieve?
So it's not necessarily about the score. What I've learned, and I think I learned this my second time repairing my credit. So I had like a 720. I had built myself back up. I had like a 720 and I applied for something. And I think they either asked for a deposit or they either denied me or something like that. And I'm like, hold up, my credit is good. Like, why y'all treat me like I got a 500 or something? Like, what's going on? And they weren't really able to give me a clear answer. But in analyzing and trying to figure out what was going on, I realized your score don't mean jack squat. You can have an 800, you can have a 775 and still get denied for things. Mm-hmm. It's all about the positioning. It's all about how your credit score is positioned. It's all about the story that your credit score tells. Because you can rack up a 700 something credit score just having trade lines that you purchased and being authorized users on people's credit cards, like riding up this coattail. And so if a bank looks at that and sees, hey, this person, every line of credit that they have, they're on it with somebody or they're a joint borrower or whatever, they're not really going to trust you to lend to you. So it's all about, it's not necessarily about the score. It's about how your credit report is positioned. So the age ranges you said again?
25 to 35.
Yeah, so 25 to 35, to answer your question more directly, the type of positioning that you should look for, you should determine what your goals are, how you want to use your credit. So some people only want to get a car within the next 2 years. Some people want to be able to get a car with no down payment and a low interest rate. And some people want to buy a house. So if you want, then you know that you need to position your credit report to have installment loans, and you need to demonstrate your ability to pay and manage installment loans properly, if that's your goal. If your goal is to become a real estate investor, maybe you want to start purchasing investment properties, and maybe you want to leverage your credit, then again, you need to have installment loans on your credit report. You need to show, hey, I can handle installment loans, because the type of loan that you're going to get would be an installment loan. If you know, hey, I want this $40,000, $30,000 credit card so that I can use it to grow my business. Maybe I want to use it for my ad budget or whatever. Then you know that you need to have revolving accounts and open accounts on your credit report, and you need to demonstrate, hey, over time, I'm showing you that I can pay off these revolving accounts and I can properly manage these revolving accounts. So you want to determine what your goals are, and determining what your goals are, you want to position your credit report to show that you can handle the type of debt that you're trying to acquire. So not necessarily a score you're aiming for, but the positioning is what you're aiming for.
Okay, that makes sense. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing maybe a travel credit card, but those AIPPY, them things are so high. I'm like, ooh, child. But yeah, maybe like a car or something like that, because I don't got time for no house. House is too much work for you, girl. So I ain't
saying that.
Because that is not what. That's not in my American dream. Okay. I mean, the house, but not right now.
Being that you do what you are, there's a way that you could avoid paying interest, actually.
Oh, how is it? Because you got paid by the right date, right?
Yeah, by the due date, pretty much. As long as you pay your credit card down to a $0 balance by the due date, and they won't charge you any interest.
$0 balance. Who, child?
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. That's the thing right there. $0 balance.
That's what it gets you, $0 balance. You're like, who, child? Okay. Gotta remember, you're like, okay, I got this extra money. No, but I don't got this extra money. I gotta pay it by this time. It's too many dates in the head to remember for me. But you know, if y'all like the credit, but what I am planning on doing my year of travel, I really think that it will be best beneficial for me to get a travel card. Then I can rack my points and stuff like that. So I am looking into that as well. So yes, that is the 40111 on credit for y'all. Y'all make sure, if y'all have any more questions, hit my girl up, because I'm not a credit girl. But but that leads us into using the credit to build wealth. And I think that we want to talk about this American dream that we want to build. American dream is not what people think it is as now. Are they learning different things? Because the American dream is, okay, go to school, graduate, go to college, graduate, get a job, work 40 years, 50 years, retire, then travel. that don't sound fun to me. That don't sound like I like that idea. And so a lot of people are on YouTube talking about like, oh yeah, I don't really want to do that. I want to retire at 35, or I want to travel now. I want to do this now while I have time, where I'm waiting 40 years for a check for people that they're not even, your job is not loyal to you and stuff like that. So it's all this conversation around like, okay, like what is the American dream? Like, um, do we want to live this American dream? Do we want this dream? And so I really want to talk about how finances can impact your dream and what you want to do for yourself, as a millennial, because that's who we're talking to right now, but just like in general. So like knowing what you do. So as an at this point in time as well, your dreams can change and everything like that. Like, I'm not saying that I don't want to get married and have kids and have the house and all that stuff, but it's like at this point right now, I can't think about that because that's not the stage that I'm in. Like, I'm just graduating. Like, I'm free. I have the freedom. So it's like right now I want to use that freedom to my advantage. So I'm trying to position myself where I can go into a remote job. I can go into tech if I want to. How you went from teaching to tech. I want to be able to position myself so that I can create the dream that I want to create. And so that would be me getting a remote job, being able to travel monthly, being able to build my credit so I can build a business, so I can be able to have multiple streams of income as well. So that's just a little bit of my dream that I want to be able to live right now, and how I'm creating my, I say African American dream because I'm Black, you know. So that is something that I want to do, and creating multiple streams of income. And we all know that there is 8 streams of income. Well, they say 7 or 8, but I'm gonna go tell y'all the income and I'm gonna explain it. So the first one is earned income, where you earn from working a job. The second is profit income, where you earn from buying and selling products. The interest income is earned from lending your money. Okay, you got to get that interest back on the people. Residual income is where you get paid after the job is done. A residual income, I think, is also maybe what is that called passive income? I think residual and passive is the same, or is it?
It's a different.
It's
It's a little different.
Okay. Well, one is called, like, they use passive income all the time. Then there's dividend income, and that is earned from owning company in a stock. Rental income is earned through investment properties. Capital gain is earned through the sale of assets. Royalty income is earned through someone else selling your product or your idea. I just thought residual and no, not residual. Or one of them is passive income, but I forgot which one I guess they try to use. People say passive, 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 but people forget that you have to actually do the work for it to be a passive
Yeah.
income.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to share about the 8 incomes, because how we said this is financial literacy month. April is financial literacy month. You know, I do have an actual whole season on financial literacy. If y'all want to check that out, it's season 4. But now I just want to talk about what are ways that you are creating your American dream, and that you are into this self as wealth, and like you're into the finance industry. Like, what are some ways or some practical tips that people can create this life they love through finances?
So, obviously, if you're going to create the life that you love, you're going to need some funds to do that. And some people are very simple, and they may live a simple life where they don't need much and they don't need any money to create the life that they love and to create the life that they want to. But a lot of us, we have bigger, and not to say that our dreams are bigger or better than anyone else's, but we have really big, large dreams and aspirations. It's going to take some coin to get there. So in creating that American dream for yourself, you have to learn money. A lot of people think you can get away with not learning money, and you could just hire an accountant, you could just hire a money person, et cetera, et cetera. But if you know absolutely nothing about money, you are going to get got by these folks. I don't know if some of you guys watched that Earn Your Leisure interview with Steve Harvey, where he had that big tax problem. I think he owed what, 22 million to the IRS.
Someone was saying that. I said, "Is that real?" And he was paying that every month.
Yeah, his accountant, what his accountant was doing, no, he had to pay them. I forget. He had to pay them like $625,000 a month.
Yeah, like what? Who has that? Well, I guess okay, because I ain't have it. So that's my money.
To pay that, it was even a struggle for Steve Harvey to pay that. But with Steve Harvey, how he was doing, he put too much faith in his accountant, and the tax bill that he had to, his tax bills, He would send a check and he would staple it to his tax returns and he would send it to his account. So his account would send it off. But his account she
taking the money.
never tax bill. Instead, she was withdrawing the same exact amount that he had to pay for his tax bill and keeping it for herself.
Is
so
she
that's how
jail?
he ended up owing money to the IRS. Sorry?
Is she in jail?
She died, and that's how they found out. So when she passed away, I guess they were in her apartment and they found all of his old tax returns on her floor. Yeah.
Is it recent that she died?
He didn't say. He didn't say.
So I'm like, is he paying that money back right now?
You said what?
So I'm like, is he paying that money back right now, or was this a while ago?
Oh, he's done. He done paid it back already. Yeah.
Because he living on yachts in Italy.
Even if you may not have been put on this earth, you may feel like I was put on this earth to no money. And granted, you were put on this earth for whatever reason you were put on this earth. However, you need to have a basic foundational understanding of money if you don't want to take advantage of.
Because the books need to be looking good, right? And you need to know your books so that you don't get taken advantage of.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You need to have some kind of foundational knowledge. You need to know investing. You need to understand the different assets, and you need to understand your investment personality and the assets that you're better off investing in. So some people, they're not stock people, but they'll go on social media and see that everybody's into talking about this stock, so they'll try to get into stocks, and they're not a stock person. And let me back up a little bit. So you got to understand your guts. And what guts stand for: gifts, uniqueness, talents, and skills. You have to understand those things so that you can understand what's for you and what's not for you. There are too many people out here not understanding what's for them, not understanding who they are, not understanding their purpose. So they're trying to fulfill other people's purpose and do what they see other people doing and do what they see popping for other people. And then they dive into it and then they fail and fall flat on their butts, because they're not doing what they was designed to do, or they're not doing what's aligned with their guts. They're not doing what's aligned with their gifts, uniqueness, talents, and skills.
Yes, I remember that when I did the money plan with you. Hey. I don't know if I still know what my gifts are, but you said what?
I'm gift right now.
Our guts. What? It's, you said uniqueness, talents, and gifts.
Gifts, uniqueness, talents, and skills. Yep.
Skills. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I remember all of them, but I do remember doing that plan with you. You said you could say what right now? What's one?
I'm pretty sure you're walking in your gift right now.
Well, we hope so. We hope. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a practical tip. First, you want to understand your guts, and you want to understand what's for you, what's not for you. Maybe you're not the stock person. Maybe you're the real estate person. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're not the real estate person. Maybe you're the precious metals person. Maybe you're not the precious metals person. Maybe you are the mortgage notes person, or maybe you're the tax deed and tax lien person. You got to find your thing and learn that and stick with it. You have to take the time and the patience to learn what you need to learn, stick to it, be consistent with it, focus on it, and grow in that.
Okay.
So that's my tip.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I have a question. So April is also when taxes are due. So people are getting these lump sums and money back and stuff like that. If you was to give a suggestion, or maybe just a suggestion, not this is what they need to do, whatever, but like to invest, like what would you tell somebody to invest in now? Because people don't, because I'm really not a stocks person. I can't be sitting there looking blah, 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 blah. So it's like, what would you tell somebody to invest in right now if they got a lump sum of money, maybe from their taxes?
So if you don't already know what you want to invest your money in, you're not ready to invest your money just yet. Mm-hmm. Now, if you know what you want to invest your money in, y'all know how it is, y'all entrepreneurs, y'all investors, you know what you want to invest in, and man, as soon as I get this money, as soon as I get my hands on such amount of money, it's going down. You already got that plan in your head. But if you don't already know, if somebody were to give you a $5,000 check and you don't already know right now what you would do with it, here's what you need to do with it. You need to put it up until you can figure out what to do with it. Because if you try to rush and throw that money into an investment and you don't know what that investment is, or you're not well versed in it, Let's say you try to throw $5,000 into stocks, but you don't really know about stocks. All you know is what you see on social media. You never really studied it. You're going to squander and lose that money. So if you don't know what you want to do right now, then you need to put that money away, not in a savings account, because with savings accounts, you actually end up losing money. Why? Because with savings account, the interest rates that they pay you on that is far less than the rate of inflation. So you're actually losing money when you keep your money in a savings account. So where you want to store your money is in conservative investments, or high yield savings that has an interest rate that is at least on pace with the rate of inflation, or that at least outpaces inflation. So if the inflation rate is at 2.5% or whatever, then you want to make sure that your money is parked in a safe investment that is going to pay you 2.5, 3%. Or another good suggestion, what I like is you can put your money in precious metals, but you want to be careful with that because you have to understand how precious metals work. And how they work real quick, they have an inverse relationship with the economy. So when the economy is doing really, really well, precious metals, when it's doing really well, precious metals decrease in value. When the economy is doing really bad, precious metals increase in value. So if the economy is, you have to understand the economy. So if the economy is doing really good, then you don't want to buy precious metals right now because you're buying high. You want to buy low. You want to buy when the economy is a little bad. You want to be looking at your precious metals prices. But those
right now,
precious metals are a good place to put your funds in.
The economy,
it's a good place to kind of store for that.
A little fishy right now. The economy looking a little low right now, so it might be a good time.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. It's inverse. The economy is looking bad right now, so precious metals will probably be pretty high right now. Yeah.
Oh, it's the reverse. Okay.
But yeah, you wanna park it in somewhere conservative, maybe some kind of high yield CD or something like that, until you figure out what your thing is and what you're going to invest that money in, and until you've educated yourself on that. You don't necessarily have to be an expert, but you need to at least know enough to where you're not squandering your money and throwing your money away.
Yeah, I know. I've always talked about that for like 2 years. I'm like, I'm gonna do a high yield savings account. I'm gonna do a high yield savings account. I ain't never did one, but maybe this year is when
long as it's in something that's giving you an interest rate that's either at pace or above the rate of inflation.
Yes, and I do know about that 2.5 and above and stuff like that, because that's what we were talking about when I did the season 4 or whatever. And we talk about high yield savings accounts and stuff like that. Well, I'm gonna make one, but it's like when you're saying like you don't really know, you're not ready to invest. I'm like 2019, I didn't even have no job. I did have a job. Oh no, this was 2020. This wasn't even 2019. 2020, I didn't really have a job. And I'm like, I can't get no high yield savings account doing this, that. 2019 is when the season came out. But I was about to move and I was doing all that stuff. So I'm like, what would I open this up for? 2020, the pandemic came. So I sure wasn't putting no money away. But now, that's why they call it personal finance. Because, at this point, but it's like you're all learning. You don't really know what's going on. So you just all trying to figure it out. So that's what I was wondering about. I was like, people are getting their taxes back. They're thinking about starting businesses. They're thinking about starting this. But it's like, okay, you want to use that money to try to kind of, I don't know, fix your credit, or you want to figure out if you want to get you have money. So do you want to try to get a credit card and then you can pay because you have the extra money to pay it off now, and stuff like that. So it's just like different things that you can do. But at the end of the day, you do want your money to work for you.
Got to be careful paying off debt too, because a lot of people around tax time, and paying off debt is a great thing, but a lot of people will pay off their debt and try to fix their credit with their taxes, and within 3 months, the credit is back where it was. Okay. So you got to be careful with that. And that's another thing. You got to know before you invest your money, wherever you put your money, you got to understand it. You got to understand credit too, and understand how that works. If you are going to put your money into repairing your credit, then you need to have the skills and know what you need to do to keep that growth consistent.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks. I know what I need to do. I need to do a high yield savings account. But yeah, so from other people, just research and look. And how you're saying Earn Your Leisure, I don't listen to it all the time, but I do know that they have some great stuff, great content out there. And it's always hard because with content creation, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can go get a camera, I can go get a microphone, I can go get all these things. I'm like, well, dang, it's all materials. And I was like, and I need to put money into maybe marketing, into promotion and stuff like that. So it's always something that the money can be used for, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is Another thing too, taxes come, people get big loan sums or lump sums, and not loans because it ain't loans, okay? We getting money back. So
Right.
that's a good one to, before you invest, to know what you want to invest in. And if you don't know what you want to invest in, that means that you should not invest. Okay. That's actually really good, because that's how you say, you see everything on social media, like, oh, do this, do this, do this, and like you get wrapped up in it. And then people ain't even doing what they say they're doing, or they going to try to get you to do something else. And you be trying to be like, oh, this stock, da, da, da. You be like, I don't even know about this stock. And then you, boom, stock went
It's
down.
not stock that went down and plummeted and you lost money on it.
And now you mad. Okay. So, so you was talking about guts, gifts, uniqueness, talents, and what's this?
Skills.
Skills. Okay, I'm gonna get it together. So we talk about money does help us. It gives us access. So we talked about building the credit. We talked about what to do if you get some money. So this is how we will live off of money and what we can do. And so what or how do you suggest people go and buy multiple streams of income? That's why I brought guts back up, because you were talking about
And put
uniqueness,
that back up.
skills. Yes. So talking about multiple streams of income, of course, we all know that the first one is probably your job. Then the second one can be a side hustle and different things like that. How do you feel like someone should go about bringing in multiple streams of income, or what are your suggestions so that they can get this, extra money to be able to live their dream life?
Okay, I'm gonna try to be quick because my phone is on 5%. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm glad you brought guts back up. So understanding your gifts, uniqueness, talents, and skills. And I have an ebook on guts. And if you guys want that ebook, it's completely free. Just hit me up. Alicia, I'm sure she'll have my contact information to give you guys. But understand it's a self-awareness process. In order to be successful in building financial literacy, in order to be wealthy, you have to understand who you are. You have to have a level of self-awareness and understanding what your gifts are, understanding what your uniquenesses are, and what makes you unique. Essentially, what is your competitive advantage? So you know how businesses, they have their competitive advantages. Uniqueness is what your competitive advantage is. What are you talented in, and how can you monetize that? What skills do you currently have, and what skills do you want to build, and how can you monetize that? How can you leverage that to get a higher paying job? Or how can you leverage that to build a side hustle? Maybe you want to learn graphic design and build graphic design skills and have a side hustle where you're doing some graphic design work. But understanding your gifts is the most important of the guts, because understanding your gifts is tied to your purpose. And when you understand your gift, you understand the tool that you need to use in order to walk in your purpose. So once you get your guts together and understand what that is, you are able to create income streams from that. Your purpose is wrapped in your gifts. You can create multiple income streams from what your competitive advantage is, from what your talents are, what your skills are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's great. Love that. I need to go look back at the presentation again. Because we did it, but I want to say thank you so much. We might have to bring you on for a part two. I know you said your phone about to die, but yeah, you might have to come on for a part two or something like this, because it was really good. And we were talking about credit a lot, but I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and happy Financial Literacy Month. Get to the money, get to the bag, learn more about your money, learn more about wealth, so you can create the dream life that you want to create. And I have some words of wisdom for you all to end with. It says, being rich is having money. Being wealthy is having time. And that is by Margaret Bonanno. So I always leave y'all with that. Yeah, I thought that was really, really good. The other ones didn't sound as well, but rich people, yeah, they have money, but they got to keep on going. But wealth, how we were talking about, building your credit, building this stuff that can be passive, and you would have more time to do stuff that you enjoy doing. So if you like this, make sure you subscribe and share this with one of your friends. Oh, tell them your socials so they can follow you. And
so on Instagram, Sasasha at Sasasha Fleming. Y'all might need a pencil for this. SASASHA Fleming FLEMING. So you guys can check me out on Instagram. I'm just now starting to get back active up there. I be on and off Instagram, and on Facebook, I'm at Sash Fleming. However, that's my personal page. That's where you'll see all my shenanigans and all of that good stuff. And my Facebook group called Self is Wealth, wealth building group, and it's spelled self X wealth building group. You guys can join that group and learn credit tips and financial literacy tips and things of the sorts.
Yes, and if you did not know, my name is Alicia. If you got this shared, and however, I am the host of Millennial Thoughts, like I should have said in the beginning. You can follow us on Instagram at Millennial Thoughts Pod, on Twitter, Millennial Thoughts PD or something like that. I'm not really on Twitter that much, as you can clearly see. I do have a Facebook group, Millennial Thoughts, and hopefully y'all enjoy this episode. Hopefully y'all have listened and gained information. Like I said, I did a whole season on financial literacy, season 4, but I wanted to really come and chat with y'all about financial literacy again. So we'll have more episodes coming later on in the month about financial literacy. So make sure you subscribe so you don't forget. Make sure you check out the Patreon in the description link. Okay. Check out the link in the description. And I will also have Sasha's information too, so y'all can check her out. Thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of y'all day, night, whenever y'all listen to this.